Come up to the screen. Look at it. Look at the noodles.
Alright, today I'm going to be making soybean paste flavor ramen noodles. Absolute goodness. Now this particular brand is by my OG, starts with a Chkazanamai. Can't pronounce that properly, so you can figure it out yourself. But anyway, the soybean paste flavor, it is the delicious noodles for Sichuan. Don't exactly know what that means, but it's probably absolute goodness. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. But before I open this up, I'm going to go ahead and get the water boiling. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour some water into the pan. And you're probably like looking and wondering, why am I cooking it in the pan? But I find that the flavoration of the ramen noodles is so much better when it is cooked in a pan, but that's just my preference. I might be a little bit off, so I'm gonna go ahead and light this. Go ahead, turn on the flame and get that going, get that boiling. And while that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the package right here. All right, so this is the soybean paste flavor, and I'm just gonna simply go ahead and open this up at the top, make it drop. All right, and inside you have the block of ramen noodles right here. It's a square version of ramen noodles right here, but the good stuff comes on the inside. Now let's look on the inside of this. You see that? That's the good stuff in there. And you have two packets. You have a soup-based packet right here. So you have the soup-based, and then you have the liquid seasoning. Absolute goodness. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, and we're going to look at the instructions, directions, all right, in here. So it says soybean paste flavor. Absolute goodness. They don't say absolute goodness, but they should, because it's absolute goodness. And the one thing I like about this, it has the expiration date to make sure that you're getting a fresh pack of ramen noodles. All right, so it says right here, bring this in a little bit closer. It says add 2 cups or 500 milliliters of boiling water. Okay, wait a minute. Add 2 cups of boiling water. Wait, hold up. Wait. I think I'm missing some of the instructions. So let me zoom this in, because maybe I'm reading wrong. All right, add 2 cups of boiling water. Simmer. Wait a minute. How would you add boiling water? Okay, and then simmer for 4 minutes, stirring occasionally. I think they meant to say add 2 cups of water, then simmer, stirring occasionally. All right, so that's the step 1 that I'm going to be not necessarily following, because I don't think they said it right, but that's a step 1. And then number 2, it says remove from heat, mix contents of soup base and liquid seasoning packs. All right, so as you know, normally I add the seasoning pack to the water so it can permeate the ramen noodles, but I'm not going to do that here. Today I'm going to not necessarily follow the instructions, but I'm going to do more of the instructions. But look behind me, the water is boiling, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the block of ramen noodles to here. And also at the bottom, there's a surprise. It says, try adding meat or vegetable as desired to the ramen noodles. That is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have a little surprise for you at the end, where I add a little bit of vegetables for health reasons, because I'm on the healthier side of being unhealthy. I'm going to add some vegetables in there. So I read the instructions, and we're going to put this to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and check up on the ramen noodles and make sure that they're boiling right. And it says cook for 4 minutes, but I'm going to cook them until they're al dente, and however long that takes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to necessarily go by the instructions completely, because I like my ramen noodles to be al dente. All right, absolute goodness. So this is boiling, and this is the soup base. I'm just going to go ahead and prime this for the bowl when I open this up, and we're going to go over that in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here onto the side. Maybe open it up. No, I'm going to keep it closed because I don't want soup base spillinating all over my surface area. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to put the oil seasoning, liquid seasoning to the side because you definitely don't want that spilling on my surface area. All right, so I'm going to put this to the side, and I'll look to the side, and look what I have. I have one of the crunchies kind of, fell apart from the ramen noodles, and I'm just going to enjoy this morsel of ramen noodles while the rest of the ramen noodles cook. Absolute goodness. Really good. All right, so the ramen noodles are cooking, and I'm just going to go ahead and stir them occasionally like the instructions say in order for them to get to al dente evenly across the noodles. All right, so they're almost done. I'm going to stick a fork in here, and I'm going to see how close they are to al dente. All right, so it's important that the noodles are not overcooked, are not undercooked, but to al dente. Absolute goodness. So this is it right here. I'm going to go ahead and try this. It needs about another minute of cooking. Now, one thing that I'm going to do with this, I'm going to add a little bit of lime at the end. Now, the lime adds to the flavoration of the noodles and the soup base. Now, a lot of people are like saying, why would you add lime to this type of ramen noodles? Well, I'm a chef. I know what I'm talking about. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side. It needs to be cut. I'm just going to cut a wedge of this. Put that to the side. And the vegetable of choice is going to be spinach. All right, so I'm going to add spinach to it. I'm going to blanch it inside of the ramen noodles just briefly, just to get the outer layers cooked perfectly. So it's going to be al dente, just like the ramen noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this one more again right here, and they should be close to al dente. And then I'm just going to go ahead and blanch the spinach in here. Just blanch it, and it should be cooked to al dente. Absolute goodness. So the noodles should be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to push this to the side really quick. And I have to be really quick with this because I don't want the noodles to really overcook. So what I'm going to do, a little bit of spinach got in here. I'm just going to take that out. And I'm going to go ahead and put my soup base in here. I'm going to put my soup base at the bottom right here. And I'm just going to shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. All right. So I need to tear it a little bit more. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour this down. Absolute goodness. Now look at the seasonization inside of here. There's a lot of flavor that's going to be coming from out of that. So I have to watch out for this because it could be absolute goodness. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I have a pair of thongs. And I'm just going to thong the ramen noodles on top. And then I'm going to pour some of the ramen noodle water on top. Now, this is subjective, how much you put on here. Some people like a lot of broth juice. Some people don't like a lot. So once I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and take my fork and do a little ziggity action with this. And this right here dissolves the flavoration at the bottom of the bowl. And allows the flavoration to permeate the ramen noodles because it's mixed in with the water, forming a nice consistent broth. Absolute goodness. So now that that's mixed in, the seasonization is going to permeate the ramen noodles. And what I'm going to do, remember that spinach? I'm just going to go ahead and plop the spinach on top, just like this. All right. Looks really good. All right. Smells really good. Looks really good. And then do you remember the liquid seasoning? I hope you didn't forget about this because this is all part of the absolute goodness. I'm going to go ahead and tear this. Use my teeth. Please don't use your teeth. I'm a trained chef, so I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to pour the liquid seasoning on top. Now, some people are like, why would you do that? Now, I'm doing this because I like a little the flavoration a little bit on the strong side. And in order to get that strong flavorization, this is what I do. All right. So I have that in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and take my fork and mix it a little bit. Soybean flavor just at the top. So the strong flavorization is at the top of the ramen noodle bowl. All right, so I'm going to set this to the side, and all while this is sitting on the side, don't forget that the seasonization is permeating the ramen noodles. So the longer you let it sit to the side, the more permeated the ramen noodles will be with the seasonization. I'm going to go ahead and cut my lime. In half right here, and then in a half of a half. All right, so got a quarter right here, and look at the lime. Come up to the screen, smell that. That's fresh lime, fresh lime. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and bring my bowl over here, and I'm going to put the fresh lime on top of the ramen noodles. Now, you might want to get a towel or something because your mouth is going to start to water like mine is right now. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to take the lime and I'm just going to squeeze the juice all on the ramen noodles. All right. So this is the ramen noodles, the soybean based ramen noodles. Come up to the screen. Look at it. Look at the noodles. Look at the spinach. Smell the lime. Smell the soybean paste. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness.